Well, I have a comparison video here for anybody that's a Kobalt versus Craftsman. You go to Lowe's and you buy these tools, to use them in your work or your hobby. It's kind of my first review on a tool, but I'm really disappointed. Back when Craftsman was, at Sears, it just seems to be a different quality of Craftsman compared to what we get today. So initially, what started all of this was I've been a big Kobalt guy here in my shop. I do electronics as a hobby, and I've kept Kobalt. I've got Gearwrench, I've got Snap-on, but I seem to lean more towards the Kobalt because I can go to Lowe's, I can swap it out, and I never had an issue until a few days ago. Went to Lowe's, carried back some screwdrivers to get repaired. Or replaced, my bad, replaced. And not only did they not have any of the screwdrivers in stock, they were replacing most of the Kobalt with Craftsman. So I had some Kobalt screwdrivers and this particular wrench. They did swap out the wrench. They did not have any of the screwdrivers. So I just walked over to the tool section after going to the returns, and they just told me to go pick out another pair. So I picked them out, and my other pair was sticking really bad and slipping. So pretty seamless swap out. And they did change the logo, the way it looks. You can see the old Kobalt compared to the new Kobalt. I'm OCD. I like them all to stay the same. So I was like, well, crap, now I've got to, make the swap to Craftsman. Well, so let me make another little demonstration here. I'll just grab this screwdriver. And I've swapped out some of the Kobalt screwdrivers before because I do go through them quite a bit. Now, here's the kind of the old school Kobalt. That's a flathead. And I never had to swap it out. It's had its fair amount of use. Now you can see the Phillips. I use a lot of the Phillips. This is the new one. You see they went to a lighter color, and I love the screwdriver. It reminds me a lot of the Snap-on screwdrivers that I have with the little nut here, I guess you would say, or where you can torque, whatever you got down. Well, then I went and bought some Linux. I really like them. And, it don't have the torque here. I never really used that, but I bought them and I'm using them. And I quickly learned they do have a lifetime warranty, but you have to send them back. You cannot go into Lowe's and swap them out. Really disappointed in that. That really, kind of, irked me a little bit. But I'm not much on creating, professional videos as far as voiceovers and stuff like that. So I do have a little studio where I do live feeds on YouTube and Facebook for my little hobby. But what brings me into this are I bought this little miniature set today to try to get replacement part tools. I really did not want to make the move to Craftsman because I'm a huge Kobalt guy. But, here's an example. And you have to excuse my fingernails. I've been out here in the shop working. The Kobalt, even though it does say made in China, it's got good tension, good return. If you look at the tips of them, nice, round, perfect, Then you move to the Craftsman. And you guys can't tell via video, but This is smooth. There's no, you know, it's very smooth. Well, you see how far that this one opens too. You know, very, very seamless, you know. Well, the Craftsman, I mean, it's very crunchy. It won't open up very far. I mean, you have to, and that's it. As far as you can get out of it. And that's natural. And I tugged on it. You see the gap. Well, on top of that, look at the tip. How is that going to be usable? I mean, if you look at the waveform, look how wavy it is. If we look right in here, look how wavy it is. And then you go back to the Kobalt, seamless, you know. We move on to, these are probably my most used, one of my most used small plier sets that I have. I even got them marked where I use them for what I do. And it's got the same effect, smooth like it's on a bearing, and good return. When we get over here, well, you can automatically see it doesn't open very far, and it's not smooth. I mean, that's all the travel I have. And on top of that, they're not flat. They're kind of slotted, so you can do a. Matter of fact, if you sit right there and look where they cut it out, and it says Craftsman quality. This is nothing but junk. And I know there's going to be people that's going to hate what I'm saying. You know, I'm not going to lie. I used to be a Craftsman. I did like Craftsman tools back in the day. But this new Craftsman that Lowe's is carrying is going to kill their business. I'm fairly certain Lowe's has purchased the rights to Craftsman. They would not be getting rid of all the Kobalt. Let's see here. Let's move on to another set. I mean, like silk. Now, these were like silk from the day I got them. I never had to oil them. They are a little rusty, but they're about, you know, and you can see where I've used that one, and the tip of it's kind of, you know, spread apart a little bit. But you know, they've been trusty. And then I get over to the Craftsman, and it feels like I'm just pushing on sandpaper between those joints. And look, the gap. I mean, let me see if I can get the gap out. No, I can't. Let's go back to the now, granted, my tip, I bent the tip. That's on me. But look. So, let's move on to the side cutter, the little small side cutters. I mean, no gap. I mean, just like butter. Let's go to the Craftsman. Look at there. I mean, you cannot tell in this video. I'm putting pressure right there. And, I mean, I get to about right there, and I put a lot of pressure to close it. Let's move on to the Needle Node 90s, is what I call them. Again, like butter. Like butter. Then we go over to the Craftsman. Again, I'm having to get, it's about right there, and it achieves a lot of tension. And then there's a gap. Again, I have put these through a lot of torture, and you can tell. Now, this is a pair that I rarely use. You can tell by the handle, you know, they're not dirty. I rarely ever use them. Like butter, again, I mean, good spring action, like butter. Give it to the Craftsman. Again, feels like sandpaper. It actually hangs right there. When I get to it, I can release it. I mean, this is... Now, granted, I didn't pay a lot of money for this little Craftsman set. It comes in this little lifetime warranty right here. This nice little carrying case, which I'll never use. Now, I did buy the screwdrivers too. I did. I love the handles. The handles feel good, but this little groove tip right here, if will it focus in on it? That is just signs of cheapness. I mean, I can go to the Dollar Tree and get them that look like this. I mean, and let's go back to the Kobalt. And I don't even know if those are magnetic. Let's see here. I'll get a screw from my screw bin over here. Are these magnetic? No. So, let's look at the Kobalt screwdriver. You know, again, it looks a lot like the Snap-on. And let's see, is it magnetic? Huh! That just makes me sick. I don't know whether to take all this Craftsman stuff down. And, I mean, I was looking today at buying, replacing all the Kobalt with Gearwrench. I've got some Gearwrench tools. I really like Gearwrench. You know, I've actually considered selling all of my Snap-on to replace it all with Gearwrench. They've got a master screwdriver set that's like 80 to 100 bucks on Gearwrench. And I know they have a lifetime warranty. I like the colors of the Craftsman. Don't get me wrong. Sorry, I got a microphone cord hanging down there. I like the colors. I really do. And I like the Kobalt, but I'm not about colors. I'm about form and function. Main thing, function. You know, I use all name brand tools. There's Crescent Wrench, and the other Crescent's over here. You know, Klein. You know, if you're gonna buy a tool that's gonna do the job, you know, buy the correct proper stuff. Now I have some Southwire of the same set, but you know, I've got some Irwin. You know, this is a tool just, you know, for one reason only. It's an extended screwdriver. So let's see here, for certain things, you know, and you can see I've even got Kobalt Allen sets, but that really, you know, kind of irks me. Now I believe that this right here is a Craftsman, which I don't use much of. A little tin snipper. You know, it's fair. No complaints with it whatsoever. But I just wanted to kind of do a review video of Kobalt versus Snap-on from Lowe's. Do your own opinion. This video is not sponsored by no vendor whatsoever. I'm just really kind of, you know, upset. I wish that, you know, well, you know, here we go. Here's a Lennox that has the torque on the bigger screwdriver, but the smaller ones don't. Of course, where Kobalt, you get all of them are torque. So I don't know whether to go try to find some more Kobalt screwdrivers and hoard them and store them away, or go to Gearwrench. I would really like some Gearwrench. I do a lot of electronic playing around, use a lot of tools. Again, I like the Craftsman colors. I like the feel of the actual handles, but I don't like the quality. You know, give me your input. What do you think? Craftsman versus Kobalt. Should I go to Gearwrench? Your final thoughts. Anyway, they call me Tin Man. I work on amplifiers down here in the good old Alabama. So Us Alabamians, or they call us rednecks, which we're not, but we like our good tools. Need some advice? You tell me. All right. Thank you.